We're discussing very profound Kabbalistic mystical concept of garments of the soul, garments of the godly soul. You remember we got two: the animal soul, the energy which animates our body, and more subtle, more lofty, which we call divine soul, which being revealed only not when we just function as human beings, as Homo sapiens, but when we act fulfilling our mission in this world. And how do you know what is our mission in this world? Do you have job description? I think you think yes, right? So, what is it?
Torah.
Exactly. So the manufacturer of this world gave us the manual with certain rules, and from following these rules depends the achievement of the goal of the creation, the purpose of the creation. So our divine soul being revealed in our life when we act in accordance to the purpose for which we were sent in this world. So when we're talking about the garments of the divine soul, we call the garments of the soul thought, speech, and action. But the garments of the divine soul are very specific. Thought, speech, and action connected directly or somehow with learning, understanding, studying, and fulfilling the commandments of the Torah, mitzvahs of the Torah. And last time we discussed the idea that even though these three things are called garments of the soul, because they are external, they're interchangeable, so to speak, and so on. Yeah, the Kabbalah uses this term for a specific reason, and it might sound like something secondary, right? Like the garment is secondary to the person which wears it, but with regards to the garments of the soul, they have tremendous advantage, even over the soul itself. That soul which being enclosed in the body, only through the garments, through activating them, using them, the soul gets the opportunity to connect to the godliness, ultimate godliness, to the infinity, to the essence of godliness, which was enclosed in the Torah given to us. Like we said, I think it's the next picture. Even though we say that the wisdom of God, His will is infinite, not to mention Himself, it's even silly to mention that He is infinite. But nevertheless, there is a very interesting statement that in the same place where you find His greatness, you can find His, what's the proper term? Modesty or humility. I think last time we figured out that it's almost the same. And we're referring to the fact, I almost said the ability of God, to the fact that He reduced, not contracted, but somehow transformed His wisdom to fit them into the code, so to speak, which we, limited creatures, finite creatures, can perceive, right? Observe on different levels, because we are all different, with different abilities, talents, and capacities. But Torah gives anyone the ability to connect. It's such a portal through which, it's like multi-portal device. For the user of any level, it gives the opportunity to connect to that infinite godliness which interacts with us through this portal. Like we brought the example. The ultimate expression of it are the words of Torah written on the scroll. So even on the most simple, the simplest level, the order of the letters, right? Available for the person of a very low level of education, right? He can just read, just scan the letters. Just through that, he can connect to the wisdom and will of God placed, enclosed in this code, because he wanted that the letters should follow in that specific order and express that specific message, be it the simplest level of understanding or more advanced, or maybe even the completely esoterical. For any type of mind and for any level of mind, education and so on, there is the the way to connect. Like with this example, and it should be as a sign on your arm and as a remembrance between your eyes. That's about tefillin. Place one box with a scroll on your arm, another box between your eyes. But not only that, there is another level of meaning. That your actions, arm, and your thoughts, your mind, should be attached to the godliness, should be devoted to the fulfillment of your mission in this world. That's represented by the way how we put on tefillin. There is another meaning. There is an esoteric meaning to these words, and so on. There are different ways to fulfill it. When you do it, it's one way. It means that not. Since it's in this specific example, it's the mitzvah which the fulfillment of which depends on time, because you can do it only during the daytime. Therefore, ladies are exempt from the fulfillment of this mitzvah, because that's the type of the mitzvah which they are not obligated if it depends on time. Because from all the mitzvahs of the Torah, only all prohibitions and those positive commandments which do not depend on time. That's what applied to the ladies. But nevertheless, they have the way to fulfill it. Not by putting. There's no prohibition to put on tefillin for ladies. It's just there's no need. They are higher than that level of serving God. But they have achieved the fulfillment on this level if they, let's say, they encourage the husbands, their brothers, and so on to do it, or to do it in a more advanced way, and so on. But in all this, through all this, we have an ability, living in this physical world, to connect to the infinite godliness through using these garments of the soul. Through these garments, because of this garment, the soul, enclosed in the body, has an ability to get connected to the essence of godliness. Because the essence of godliness was input, that was installed, was enclosed in the Torah, which is available only for us here. Only for us and only here, in this physical world. Did you read this portion? Oh, we stopped right before. Okay, so let's read it. B'dei shechol neshama ruach nefesh shebeguf ha'adam tuchal lehasig b'daita ulikay mikol ma she'efshar likay mehem b'ma'aseh dibur machshava v'aladei zeh tislabish b'chol eser b'chinaiseha b'shloish halvushim elu. All this in order that each neshama or ruach nefesh, that's 3 levels of the soul, which being enclosed in the physical body, should be able to comprehend them through its faculty of understanding, and to fulfill them as far as they can be fulfilled in act, speech, and thought, thereby clothing itself with all its 10 faculties in these 3 garments. So by engaging in study, discussion about this, and fulfillment, will allow all the inner powers of our soul to be enclosed into these 3 garments. And these garments connect us to the infinite godliness enclosed in the Torah, which we either study or fulfill. V'lochen nimshalo ha'Torah l'mayim. Therefore, has the Torah been compared to water. Ma mayim yordim b'mokim gavol l'mokim nomuch, kach ha'Torah yordim b'mokim kvoida, shehir tzayna v'chachmasa yizborich, v'reisa kul shabrihu kul ichod, v'leis mashod fisa b'klal. For just as water descends from a higher to a lower level, so has the Torah descended from its place of glory, which is His will and His wisdom, blessed be He. The Torah and the Holy One, blessed He, are one, and the same, and no thought can apprehend Him at all. So, what's the idea of comparing Torah to water?
Just like fish, you can't live without it.
You
can't live without it?
I don't see it in the text.
I thought you were asking like in general.
No. From what we just read, how can we understand why Torah is compared to water?
It descends from God.
Because of gravity.
Because
What?
Because of gravity.
Gravity.
water's the lowest point. It's as low as it can go, no?
Oh, very good. Was it a measure of physics?
No.
That's the definition of liquid. The substance which always takes the state of the lowest, potential energy, right? The lowest goes to the lowest point possible. Unlike gas takes the entire объем, как сказать, volume. The definition of the liquid, that's what goes to the lowest potential energy state.
So it started from Hashem himself.
So at first glance, the comparison is very simple. The same way, like water, like Yaakov Shlomo said, gravity. It flows, right? Flows down. The same way Torah goes down, descends from the highest point, Hashem's wisdom, to us, the lowest, to the lowest world. Where was it given to us? On Mount Sinai, but in this world, in the physical world, in the words of our language, which we can hear or read and understand and grasp by our very limited mind. But the idea is not only descending in comparison of water. I try to convey this idea. Go on.
Another thing is water. It molds.
I worked hard. Yeah.
Water molds to whatever object it goes into. So Torah, when it goes into our brain, we comprehend it in our own way, and the same water can be. That's a
good idea, but I didn't illustrate it by this picture.
No, that might be a question from the last slide.
Come on, look at the picture. I worked so hard. Look at the picture. Try to tell me what I wanted to convey by this picture. The idea which you're saying is brilliant, but it's too hard to illustrate. So I didn't make
There
a
was
slide.
a question you asked on the other slide.
Right.
Before you.
Right. So
Say that Torah comes from God, just like the water ascends from above, so does the Torah.
I think that was said before. But besides that,
With your illustration, it's that water rises as mist or steam.
it's not right.
Not only
It doesn't rise. It actually flows down.
But we already talked about the going down. You said it not only does it go down, it can also go up.
It still goes down. But what?
No, like water can turn to steam.
Yeah.
It can go up.
So what do you think the picture of water flowing down conveys? To make sure, I wrote the chemical formula. You know, why did I do it twice?
The Tanya goes.
Why did I do it twice?
Because it's the same. On the
Same.
top is the bottom.
Coming from the highest point, right, to the lowest one, it's still the same water. Doesn't change its chemical substance.
What if it gets a little dirty out the way?
Usually it's opposite.
Usually it's cleaner. Well,
But it's the same. It's the same water. The same here. When the Torah comes from the highest level in spiritual worlds, from divine wisdom, you see this picture of Sphirot, and being enclosed in the words written, let's take the most basic level of revelation of the Torah. The letters written by ink on top of the parchment. What could be more how to say, more physical? The animal skin and just some black liquid, black color. Those symbols written on physical parchment, they express the certain aspects of the same divine wisdom which was revealed on the top of the whole system of the creation of the world. It's the same Torah which was revealed on the level of the divine wisdom. And it's available for us in this world. From there, the Torah has progressively descended through hidden stages, stage after stage, and I didn't make the next picture, so we didn't have enough time, but try to remember these schemes of the spiritual worlds, right, corresponding to the letters of divine name. These are the stages of creation. So this impulse of the revelation of divine wisdom goes through all these levels. On each level it gets an additional impulse of revelation corresponding to certain levels of the Torah. So the highest level, the revelation of the Torah in the world of Atzilus, the world of divine emanations, corresponds to the wisdom of Kabbalah, the mystical knowledge, esoterical wisdom of the Torah. The next world, remember, Bria, that's the level of divine intellect, so to speak, divine thought. That corresponds to the level of Talmud, where the discussions of sages are compiled, so some intellectual substance was revealed. The next world corresponds to the level of Mishnah, the statements. This is pure, this is impure, this is allowed, this is prohibited. It sounds, those statements, there's not so much intellectual substance in it. It sounds rather emotional. This is good, this is bad. This could be used, this should be avoided. So it corresponds to the level of the third world, Yitzira. Feelings and so on, and so on. And the basic meaning of the Torah corresponds to the level of of the lowest world Asiya. That's the reality where we live. With the descent of the worlds, which we just mentioned, until it clothes itself in corporeal substances and in things of this world. Shehem roiv ha-mitzvahs ha-Torah, kikum ilchasehem, comprise almost all the commandments of the Torah, their laws and their laws. Most of the commandments of the Torah deal with the physical actions and dealing with the physical objects. Most of them. There are certain commandments pertaining to the feelings and so on. But most of them, the majority of the commandments of the Torah, they deal with actions and physical objects. ובצירופי אויסס גשמיס בדיול על הספר. 24 ספרים שבתורה נביאים וכתובים. And in the combinations of the material letters written with ink in a book, namely the 24 volumes of Torah, prophets, and writings. That's what we call Tanakh. The written Torah in the Jewish tradition is called Tanakh. Tanakh is the abbreviation, consists of 3 letters. Tav, Nun, Ches. Torah, which is Pentateuch, 5 books of Moses. Nevi'im, the books of prophets. And Ksuvim, the writings. This is the written Torah. Gdei shidhei kol machshava tfisa bahem. All this in order that every thought, every mind should be able to apprehend them. Va'afilo chinas dibur ma'isa shelemata mimadregas machshava. And even the faculties of speech and action, which are on lower level than thought, tfisa bahem mislav eshes bahem, should be able to apprehend them and be closed on them. So Hashem gave us Torah in this world, giving us the opportunity to bring His infinite wisdom and will into the revelation in the reality of this world. Besides the idea of connection, which is great. But it's not only that. It's not only that. Besides the tremendous benefit which the soul has only in this world, because only in this world we can fulfill the commandments and study the Torah in the reality which corresponds to the level how these mitzvahs are expressed. What I mean that it's not that there is Torah study in the spiritual worlds also, that the souls enjoy studying the Torah. There is a yeshiva of heaven mentioned in many sources. But the way how they learn it there, the souls in the heavenly yeshiva, and the way how we learn it here is different. We may say that the way they live, because they're freed from the limitation of this world, is more elevated, deeper and so on, but it doesn't have that depth, that weight, that connection to the reality about which Torah is talking as we hear. There's a story about, I think, the third Lubavitcher Rebbe, Rebbe Tzemach Tzedek, that on one of the Farbrengens gatherings, he told him the story about a Jew who was a landlord. So he and his tenant who was renting the place for his either inn or whatever, some eatery, whatever business he had, and he wasn't very successful in his business, and for a long time he was in debt. He couldn't pay the rent. So many times his landlord, being very kind, he would let him to postpone and so on, but then he said, I need to feed my family also. And the guy had to leave the place. So when they passed away, the soul of the landlord was called to the court, to the heavenly court, where the accusing angels were demanding, how could you do such a thing? How would you throw the person to the street? And he said, but listen, you need to understand me also. I need to. That's the source of my income, and I have to feed my family. But he couldn't accept his argument. So he had. But he said, you cannot understand me at all. You never lived in this world. How can you judge me? I have to be judged according to the earthly conditions. I have to be judged by the earthly court. And the Rebbe said, so what do you think? Is he right or wrong? And Chassidim said, of course he is right. So I want you to make the decree. Just announce he is right, and everybody did. They made l'chaim, and he said that now your decree, your verdict, helped the soul in the heavenly court. Because you understand what I was trying to illustrate? And this is true Torah. The true Torah, because the Torah is dealing with the earthly matters, it exists only in this realm, which accessible, available only for us, for the souls who still live in this world. Once you leave this world, there are so many benefits in heaven, but you lack the essence of the Torah. You don't have access to it anymore. But besides that, the ability to connect to the essence of the Torah it's the essence of godliness. There is no meditation, no nirvana can give you the spiritual benefit and spiritual elevation, which could be compared to that one given by the Torah. This is the connection with true essence of spirituality. Through the involvement in the physical life, through living right in this life, according to the rules of the Creator, because in these rules he put himself, his essence. And not only that, we were talking about the connection, but it's not only connection. The Torah is also the tool given to us to transform this world. We discuss only benefits, personal benefits. How great, through these three garments, the soul has the opportunity, the ability to connect to the infinite godliness. Not only that, through doing so, we have the ability to transform this world, because every mitzvah which we fulfill draws down the divine energy, infinite, transcendent, divine light, which is above the nature of the world, which is hidden from this world, from nature of this physical world. But by doing these physical actions, using the objects of this physical world, since those actions were expressed in the commandments, which are ultimately expression of the will of God, and the details of these instructions are His wisdom, which is totally united with His essence, we draw down the revelation of this essence into this world by every mitzvah, affecting this world and changing it, making it better, holier, more spiritual, and bringing closer the ultimate moment when the essence of godliness will be revealed in this world with the coming of Mashiach. We do it by actions, by speech, when we discuss the ideas of the Torah while learning or while saying prayers, because the prayer is very, very powerful tool of elevating the world where we pronounce these words of prayer. Even in thought, even though from this text you can see how it's differentiated, we say that it's lower than thought, speech and action. It is lower. Thought is much loftier. But you remember, we compared it to the, how to say, undergarment, so to speak. This is not what you show to others normally. But it has lower ability to affect this world, but still, even the thought has the power of affecting the person who has this thought and the area around him. But speech and action has tremendous power of changing the world around us, which we shouldn't underestimate and we should use. Okay, any questions? No? Okay, so let's continue.
What are you drinking?
It's her tequila.
Okay. ומאחר שתורה מצווה ישראל מלבישים כל 10 בחינות הנפש וכל תרי"ג איבורים מרישא ועד רגלא, הרי כולו צרורה ברצון החיים as Hashem mamash. Thus, since the Torah and its commandments clothe all 10 faculties of the soul, the entire soul, with all its 613 organs from head to foot, the soul is altogether truly bound up in the bundle of life which is God, with God. And the very light of God envelops and clothes it from head to foot. Ve'or Hashem mamash makifo malbishem erosh v'arlagla. Mashikosov tzurech seboi uchsiv katzin arotzen datrena shurtzeinu v'chachmos yizborach malbish meluboshem b'teirosa mitzvayseha. As it's written, God is my rock, I will take refuge in Him. And it's also written, you will envelop him with favor, as with a shield. That is to say, with his will and his wisdom, blessed be he, which are clothed in his Torah and its commandments. But these ideas were already discussed. Because of through the fulfillment of the Torah, through using this action, speech, and thought connected with the fulfillment of the Torah, we truly being united with Hashem Himself. Now, very important point. V'lochen omro, yofa shah achas b'tshuvas tovim b'olam haza mikol chaya olam haba. Hence it's been said in the Talmud, better is 1 hour of repentance and good deeds in this world than the whole life in the world to come. This is actually half of the statement. There's also a statement that all the pleasures of this world cannot be compared with just one moment of enjoyment and pleasure in the world to come. But with all this, so you can imagine how great it is to be there for the soul. Whatever we spend our lives running after what we consider good for us, pleasures and so on, it's nothing comparing to even to the one moment of being there in the pleasure and enjoyment which our soul gets in the world to come. But with all that, just 1 hour of active life, action, repentance meaning improving yourself, self-growing, and good deeds is higher than all this infinite enjoyment which soul gets in the world to come. כי העולם הבא הוא שונה מזה השכינה שהוא תענוג הסוגה, ואי אפשר לשום נברא, אפילו בעליונים, להשיג כי איזה אורה מאור השם. ולכן נקרא בשם זיו השכינה. For the world to come is that state where one enjoys the, help me to read this word,
I've never seen that word in my time.
effulgence, 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 effulgence.
Effulgence of the divine.
Wow.
They had a cup of tea with your pinky up for that.
Now, because I always was looking for the translation of the this world, the ziv,
I think
like reflection, like not the direct light, but certain secondary emission, so to speak. Yeah, that's what
Is it similar to indulgence?
that's what effulgence mean.
Like you're indulging
It
in
might-
the
The
divine
quality of
rays.
being bright and sending out rays of light, or the state of looking very beautiful or being full of goodness.
Rays of light sounds better for divine presence.
So some shine, right?
Shining brightness.
The brightness
Okay.
of the divine presence.
Okay, which is the pleasure of comprehension. Yet no created being, even celestial, can comprehend more than some reflection of the divine light. That is why the reference is to effulgence of the divine presence. Ziva Shechina. אבל הקודש ברוך הוא בכבודו ובעצמי לא ישמחשוב תפיסה בכלל. But as for the essence of the Holy One, blesses He, no thought can apprehend Him at all. כי אם כאשר תפיסה ומסלבשת בתורה ומצוותיה, אז היא תפיסה ומסלבשת בהקודש ברוך הוא ממש, דאורייתא וקודשא בריאה כל אחד. Except when it apprehends and is clothed in the Torah and its mitzvahs. Only then does it truly apprehend and is clothed in the Holy One, blesses He, and as much as the Torah and the Holy One, blesses He, are one and the same. Do you understand it? I mean, I'm sure you understand this this concept. But do you understand why?
Does it?
Because only someone who's infinite can just make you understand the infinite. Like he can dumb it down in the way where you can get it lit. As we said, by it's still the same H2O, but he like made it that our small little minds can comprehend a little bit.
Okay.
Versus
So the idea is that it's really great for the soul to enjoy this pleasure in heaven. But what is being revealed there, and what's the nature of this enjoyment? The soul enjoys the revelation of godliness available for them in the heavenly realms. Of course, why we call these worlds higher worlds? Because the spirituality is less contracted, less concealed. So there is so much revelation of godliness there. That's what they enjoy. But first of all, what is being revealed there is not the essence of godliness. It's some level of the revelation of godly light, which is tremendously higher than this world, where we see only external shells of beings, of creations. We don't see the essence of them. It's hidden from us. There, the spirituality is being revealed. But the spirituality is still limited according to the level of that spiritual realm. It's spiritual, but it's still some level, limited to a certain level. And even there, this revelation still incompatible with the soul which ascends from this world, now freed from the body, and enjoys in the Gan Eden. How do you translate Gan Eden? Garden of Eden. Even being there, the soul is still has certain limitation as a creature, created being. Of course, freed from the limitations of the physical body, but still, to a certain point, limited. And to perceive those revelations, the soul cannot directly perceive it. For that, it needs something which is called garments of the soul, but in different meaning, what we call garments here. Not thought, speech, and action as we use it here, but garments as certain shells or medium through which the soul can perceive those revelations available on that level of spiritual world. You understand this? Those garments, those tools through which the soul can perceive, can enjoy those revelations, are being created by our actions, by our mitzvahs fulfilled in this world. That's why the more good deeds you do in this world, the more reward, so to speak, the soul receives in the Gan Eden. And it's not that there is some buhalteria, how to say, the bookkeeping office who calculates, okay, you did this, so now here's your reward. No, you bring this with you. If you don't do anything, you come there naked, without these garments, and nothing is available to perceive there. Because the soul can perceive these revelations and enjoy it only through the garments created by the mitzvahs fulfilled in this world. And the intensity of this revelation is simply speaking, I'm a little bit simplifying, but simply speaking, is provided by the value of the Torah learned in this physical world. So when you call it reward, it's very, how to say, it's very primitive way to describe. Simply speaking, yes, you did it here, so you receive it there, but it doesn't explain the technicality of this. Because it's direct connection. Because you fulfilled the mitzvahs in this world, you created those tools to enjoy the revelation of divine light in the Gan Eden. But again, we're talking about certain, what do you call it? Effulgence of light, not the light itself, not the essence of godliness. But where is this essence of godliness? Of course, in the source, but not only. It's available for us in the Torah given in this world. Only in this world. Only while enclosed in the physical body, the soul has an ability to connect with the essence of godliness. Besides the other benefits that by doing so, while fulfilling His will and apprehending His wisdom, you're creating for yourself certain assets to enjoy later on in that heavenly resort, which we call Gan Eden. But the main benefit is that you're connecting with God Almighty Himself through fulfilling His mitzvahs and studying His Torah. How do you like the scales, Yaakov Shlomo? Huh? I made it. It looks now like your like favorite shprote.
Oh,
Oh yes. You must have used it as a template.
In the last slide, it said that 1 hour of good deeds in this world is greater than all the pleasure in the world to come.
Yes.
I don't think this scale makes sense to me. Like if I'm looking at that, like if I'm taking both sides.
Like
into
apples to
account.
oranges, is that what you mean?
You mean the proportion?
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't find the scales so uneven that to reflect, to convey this thought. It's totally incomparable. I just tried to illustrate that the good deeds in this world are much more valuable than the pleasures in the world to come.
Okay. Like the weight indicates the value.
I mean, I agree that the illustration is primitive. It just, I thought that between few slides with just text should be at least one picture. But the main thought is how to say is understood.
Yeah.
And again, it's the idea is that through these good deeds we connect to the essence of godliness, and it's available only in this world, not in the world to come. ואף שהתורה נשלבשה בדבורים תחתונים גשמיים, that even though, although the Torah has been, I'm sorry, let me remove this unsuccessful illustration.
It's a good illustration.
But I'm sure you'll enjoy the last one. With my minimal, I made it with my minimal input, so I didn't spoil anything. Although the Torah has been closed in the lower material things, you might say, okay, it's nice words, but on the superficial level, I see just the physical objects which I move, right? Putting tefillin, lighting Shabbos candles, choosing which food I should eat and which I should avoid eating. It's not the tremendous spiritual benefits which we just described are not on the surface. You need really to concentrate, to focus your mind on the essence of what you're doing, because on the surface it's very physical. הרי זה כמחבר כזמלך דרך משל, שאין הפרש במעלס ההסקרבוס ודבקוסי במלך בין מחבקי כשהוא לובש אחד בין שהוא לובש כמה לבושים, מאחר שגוף המלך בסויכם. It's by the way of illustration like embracing the king. And there's no difference in regard to the degree of closeness and attachment to the king, whether while embracing the king the lad is then wearing one robe or several garments, so long as the royal person is in them. Whatever on the surface is irrelevant, because essentially the moment is so great. You being united with King of the Kings, the creator of the universe. Like, just the illustration brought here is brilliant. Just imagine you hugging the dearest person, the greatest person. That's what the king is being mentioned here. Does it really matter how heavy is he dressed? Just one suit, or suit and fur coat and poncho on top to protect the fur from rain, and so on. Does it really matter?
No.
It doesn't. Because the king himself is inside of all these garments. And on the other hand, וכן אם המלך מחבקי בזרועי, גם שהוא מלובש תיך מלבושיו, מה שכוסף ממין לחבקני, שהיא התורה שנית מיון, שהיא בחינס חסד ומים. Likewise, when the king, for his part, embraces one with his arm, even though it is dressed in his robes, as it's written, and his right hand embraces me, which refers to the Torah which was given by God's right hand, which is the quality of chesed and water. This is the quote from Shir HaShirim, the Song of Songs, which describes the mystical secrets of a relationship between the heavenly groom and the bride, the Jewish nation, the Am Yisrael, and the words that his right hand embraces me refers to the situation when the person engaged in the Torah study. Because the Torah says, "Mina ish das lam," it's the revelation of His kindness, and that's what was the revelation of the Torah, and so on. But that's the symbolism of this phrase. But the idea is that either when you are hugging the king, or king is hugging you, it's absolutely irrelevant how heavily the king is dressed, how much he's hidden by these clothes. The moment of unity, closeness, is the same. No matter it's just one sweater or many other garments, it's the closeness, ultimate closeness with God. And it's available for us only in this world, where the Torah is given to us to fulfill, to discuss, and to apprehend.